Hi everyone, and welcome on back to the very final spear preview for the Mesmer, Elementalist, and Revenant. I have yet to see this trailer. This is going to be a blind reaction. I'm particularly excited for these because these are the light armor professions, plus the Revenant, so it's more magical themed. I am a lover of magic. These are the final three. Oh, Revenant looks high quality. Ranged? Melee. Ooh! Ooh! That looks cool, whatever that... Oh, these look good. Oh, these look real good. Elementalist. Ooh, some spell symbols? Freeze frame? This is a little weird. Ooh. Long range weapon. Oh, they're doing real good with these effects. That was cool. The freeze frame was a bit strange. Melee Mesmer. Okay, Mesmer seemed pretty straightforward. Mesmer seemed a bit straightforward. There was so much going on. Oh, there was so much. Oh, that was really cool. Okay, so Revenant's new spell effects look really cool. I like the dark elements to it. It looked, I don't know. Everything looked a little slow, and with Elementalist in particular, the freeze frames, like, yeah, it was cool. New tech, new photo mode, maybe. I would love to have that access for like thumbnails and stuff. We'll get into the blog post, but yeah, Revenant's looking cool. This like trailing effect, and they walk. Is that slow? I see. And this is probably like a dark field, like torment and bleed. And this pillar attack is really cool. The transitions are really strong here. But yeah, for Elementalist, they have like this symbol effect, and I think it changes. I mean, they did say that they'll use their spear as like a focus of magic as well sometimes. Water transition was cool. Hopefully we see some new water effects. That was like a wave. And it does look to be ranged. Hopefully like a true 1200, 1500 ranged. Earth is pretty cool. I need to know more about Elementalist because there was so much going on that I'm like, Mesmer seems to be the one that's a bit more straightforward. Kind of dashing in and out of combat, maybe a bit more movement to maybe pair with like the sword. Alrighty, we are here on the blog post. Let's get into each of the professions and see what they have to offer with the spear. So we're going to start with the Mesmer. Spears bring clarity to Mesmers. The Mesmers of Janthir look to the beauty of their environment to guide their spear. Through careful study of recursive designs they find in nature, they are able to weave their magic in similar patterns. Each pattern produces a unique effect, giving a spear-wielding Mesmer a variety of ways to approach a fight. The core of Mesmer's spear gameplay is the second weapon skill, Mind the Gap. You'll channel energy into your spear and swing it around in a circle. This skill is special because you will want to hit enemies with the outer edge of its area of effect. If you correctly position yourself and secure a hit in the right way, you'll do more damage and gain clarity. The clarity effect allows you to imbue the next pattern you create with stronger magic, increasing its effectiveness. The exact effect of clarity will be different for each skill, so you'll need to plan ahead to gain the most value from it. The fourth skill, Phantasmal Lancer, allows you to dash at your foe, striking them with your spear. As you dash, a phantasm is created at your starting location. The phantasm will dash through you, striking your initial target and enemies past it. If you use Phantasmal Lancer with clarity, instead of summoning a phantasm behind you, you will summon two phantasms at your flanks that will dash towards the target and meet to perform a simultaneous strike. Mesmer Spear is a mobile, high-damage weapon with dynamic gameplay. You want to focus on your positioning in fights so that you can gain clarity. Then choose which abilities you want to empower with it. Due to the unique requirement for careful spacing, this weapon might take some getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, you'll find yourself weaving a pattern of victory. I like this. It's an emphasis on proper positioning that is not just like from behind or the flanks. It's like at proper range intervals. And with it being melee, it'll be kind of interesting, but that's kind of what we saw with the pattern, those like unique, cool Mesmer designs on the floor. So I like what we got with Mesmer. Let's move on to Revenant Spear is a destructive masterpiece. Revenants who first heft their spear in battle often say that it reminds them of creation through destruction. Wielding dark powers from the mists, I like this, the dark themes, they paint the battlefield through constant pressure and debilitating effects. Let's dive in and talk about how this condition-based hybrid weapon works. Okay, so Malix, okay, so Vindicator, okay, so Kala, we could see some fun builds pop up with this. We'll start with the 5th weapon skill as the primary ability. Oh, Abyssal Rays is a ground-targeted skill with 3 charges that strike up to 5 enemies. You'll gain up to 2 stacks of Crushing Abyss per cast every time. This skill strikes a foe, which amplifies the next use of Abyssal Rays. Okay, so you gain Crushing Abyss, so this allows you to like chain into that skill multiple times. At 5 stacks, you'll reach the maximum effectiveness, causing every stroke of the Abyss to deliver the most potent effect. With 3 ammunition charges available for this skill, let's discuss how you'll refresh ammunition using your other spear skills and maintain tremendous pressure on the battlefield while keeping Crushing Abyss active. So you're going to be like, okay, so your 5th ability is going to be your key ability to focus on to gain that buff, but you recharge that particular skill using your other spear skills. Okay, cool. Lovely, got it. The other 4 Revenant Spear skills enable the use of Abyssal Rays by reducing its ammunition cooldown and keeping you and your enemies positioned opportunistically on the battleground. Your first skill is a hybrid of ranged or alternating melee strikes, much like the Ranger, and each of them reduces Abyssal Rays' cooldown by a very short amount when striking a target. Your second skill is a bread and butter area of effect attack on a target that reduces your Abyssal Rays cooldown by nearly a full ammunition count. The third skill reduces Abyssal Rays' cooldown by a static amount, and it's a movement ability that leaves Abyssal Mines in your wake. That's what we saw in the trailer. Threatening foes who dare chase you as you paint your masterpiece of destruction. And the 4th skill serves as a delayed area crowd control ability to help you land the most optimal damage as enemies attempt to flee your gaze. With all these new spear abilities coming in hot, we're excited to watch the masterpieces you create on the battlefield. Happy raising! Really cool. I mean, I like this because it seems somewhat straightforward. Are those hands coming out of the ground? That's pretty cool. It seems straightforward with one particular mechanic associated with this weapon, and it's everything kind of cyclical around that. So it allows the 1 through 4 abilities to have their own spot in combat and to approach combat very organically. But that 5th ability having that cool edge to it might allow you to really burst out a lot of damage and have something to always be focusing on with this particular weapon. We're gonna see how it plays. We're gonna see how it plays out in game. Very pleased with what I saw visually from the Revenant, and from a skills description, very straightforward, probably very easy to approach. So respect for the Revenant. Finally, we are heading off into Elementalist territory. Elementalist Spear, etching for power. I really hope Ellie gets some good love with like ranged attacks and gameplay. So, the Elementalist wields this spear as a long-range power damage weapon capable of conjuring powerful elemental forces such as volcanoes, whirlpools, and lightning storms. Y'all, give it up in chat. Give it up for them. Give it up for the ArenaNet devs. They finally bit the bullet and gave Elementalist a long-ranged power weapon. And maybe this is their answer to that kind of niche which Staff has always kind of slotted into, but just not well, because Staff has been nerfed so many times. So, the Spear has a couple of minor defensive tools, but it's primarily focused on damage and crowd control, leading to a glass cannon style of play that will be more comfortable when you're unleashing spells from a distance, rather than ending up in the thick of combat. In today's post, we'll cover a few of the skills and some of their shared mechanical aspects. Starting things off with the 4th air attunement skill, we have Twister, a ranged ground targeted area of effect skill that, unsurprisingly, creates a twister at the location that damages and inflicts vulnerability on enemies in the area. Very similar to Hammer 2. This skill, as well as the 4th weapon skills in other attunements, has an additional effect against enemies that are within a smaller inner radius near the spell's center, rewarding precise placement. When Twister strikes enemies near its center, it will also bring those enemies up to float in the air. That's really cool, actually. Next up is Harden, the 3rd Earth attunement skill. This is a personal defensive skill that grants the user barrier and also enhances their next strike from any spear skill to inflict daze on their enemy. The other 3rd slots Let's try that again. The other 3rd slot weapon skills have some similarities. Each is a utility-focused skill that protects or empowers the user and grants a bonus to their next spear skill. All of these skills also have a relatively short casting time, or none at all, which is important for today's final Elementalist sneak peek. The 5th weapon skill slot contains the most potent skill of each attunement, assuming you can fulfill the requirements. Each skill starts off in its base state, a quick cast that etches a spell circle into the ground. As an example, the fire skill Etching Volcano creates a spell circle that grants might to the Elementalist. The skill then flips over into Lesser Volcano, a ground-targeted spell that erupts to create several damaging strikes. Unlocking the skill's full potential requires the spell circle to be completed before reactivating the skill. To do so, the user must simply use 3 other skills while standing inside the etched circle. This process isn't limited to spear skills, so instant casting utility skills can be utilized to speed things up. Once the spell circle is completed, the skill flips once more to its final form, in this case, Volcano, allowing the user to unleash the full potential of the effect. The full power Volcano erupts for a longer period of time, creating additional damaging areas and inflicting more damage than its Lesser Volcano. Other attunements utilize the same etching process, but each has their own flavor and skill effects. Honestly, Elementalist is looking very tasty. I'm very much pleased with what I saw with Elementalist, and as a gamer, I am very much pleased. They are really going full force with this still shot of this char. But I gotta say, spell circles, the class fantasy of magic circles and etchings and glyphs and iconography is something that I really enjoy and I feel like has been missing in Guild Wars 2 for some time. Oftentimes with magical classes, they're just kind of infusing magic into the sword and striking their enemies with it. I'm really thankful that we're seeing this more like raw magic motif with these classes, even for Revenant and also Mesmer. So I'm very much pleased and happy that they are going in this direction, as this is something that we have not seen in Guild Wars 2 for some time, and particularly for Elementalist, having a weapon that is long-ranged focus is going to be so fun, and a glass cannon focused as well. For those of us who have been wanting staff to be reworked, I still think it warrants maybe some graphical updates or a couple spells here and there to be updated, but I have hope that this new spear weapon is going to fill that long-awaited slot of being a long-ranged, just throwing bombs, just nuking enemies, freezing them, striking them with lightning, destroying them with the earth beneath their feet. Like, this is going to be some cool gameplay for Elementalist. And I'm just happy for Ellie mains. Y'all can finally stay at ranged a little bit more and not have to go in with a sword or, you know, go in with a hammer. You can stay a little bit back if you need to. So now everything just comes down to how it's tuned via numbers. And if you gain benefits from playing at ranged to really incentivize players to not just like stack in melee. I think that this was a wise decision to leave these as the final blog posts. And then of course tomorrow we have the actual live stream where they're going to be going in depth into all of the professions and showing off the spear abilities and skills. Be sure to tune into that on Twitch Friday, June 21st. It'll be tomorrow, so if you're seeing this later, it's already passed. Go watch that stream. And I also loved the visuals from what we saw, and I think that this has been a really fun and consistent way of feeding us content for Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds and keeping that momentum going. So I'm excited to see what we do after this, because this is the final segment for the spears? Are we going to go into player housing? Are we going to go into the maps? Are we going to go into the story? What is going to be next in terms of the marketing for Janthir Wilds? Because August is approaching fairly soon. But thank you all so much for coming on by. Like the video if you liked it. Comment below your thoughts about the spears. Of these 3 professions, which one struck your fancy? And if you have yet to pre-purchase Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds, I have a link down below in the description. Thank you so much, it greatly helps me out. And if you'd like to support me on Patreon, get early access to videos, some exclusive videos, you can head on over there, link in the description as well. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.